Special welcome to my sister Karen and my brother-in-law David and my nephew Jonathan, who are all here visiting from Boston. And at the risk of missing someone, I do want to give a shout out to friends and allies who are joining us today. Student activists on campus, defending Israel and the Jewish people. We are grateful for your leadership. And two of Adam's colleagues, ministers from Emmanuel College, who have joined us this Shabbat, welcome. We're really honored to have you. Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of a return to light returning. Rosh Chodesh every month comes with the reassurance that light returns, that God's grace increases. And I'd like to share an excerpt from a poem by Marge Piercy. Let the half-day festival of the new moon remind us how to retreat and then grow strong, how to reflect and learn, how to push our bellies forward, how to roll and turn and pull up the tides up when we need them, how to come back each time we look dead, making a new season shine. Now that may be true for every Rosh Chodesh, for every new moon of every month, but it seems especially true for Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. This month just arrived, which is colored with fear, tinged with that 17th day of Tammuz. We remember the year 586 before the Common Era, when on the 17th day of Tammuz, the protective outer walls of Jerusalem were breached by the Babylonians. On the 17th of Tammuz, it was the beginning of the end. 3 weeks later, Jerusalem's temple was set to torch, and the leadership of ancient Israel, that is, anyone who survived, was taken in chains into Babylonian captivity. So the Hallel we sing on Rosh Chodesh Tammuz is sung full of praise, yet set in minor keys. We sing it with a full throat, despite the lump in our throats. It is sung with a full and knowing heart, a heart that is full of joy and sorrow, a heart filled with the knowing that life is hard, that we are lucky enough to be alive, and that we live in a world that is often tough and even cruel. We prayed together this morning, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, be especially mindful of us and of all your people, the house of Israel, this day of Rosh Chodesh, for simple things, for goodness and favor, for kindness and compassion, for life and for peace. On Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, we don't pretend any of it away. The new moon is that first sliver of light returning, the symbol and signal that dark rolls over into light. But eventually, the light rolls over into darkness again. What did the new moon look like? What did the moon look like on the 17th of Tammuz, when we could hear the Babylonians approach from the other side of the wall? Just 2 nights before, it was a full moon, full light in the nighttime sky. But by the 17th of Tammuz, we already saw that it was beginning to fade, that the moon was waning again, that light was rolling into darkness. I never quite understood or appreciated why our Hallel included so many verses about danger and war and survival. and captivity, for that matter. But since October 7th, the few times when we have sung Hallel together, the words resonate and ring like never before. This year's breaching of the protective border came on October 7th, when Hamas broke through from Gaza, slaughtered 1,200, took 251 souls into captivity. An echo of the 17th of Tammuz. It unleashed shockwaves we never saw coming across every hemisphere. And ever since, Israelis, world Jewry, our friends and allies have been working tirelessly to ensure that this breach of this border will not be the beginning of greater destruction, will not bring us into a downward spiral into darkness. So what does Hallel sound like on Rosh Chodesh Tammuz? I'll share a few stories from just this week alone to tell you what Hallel sounds like. The first story you probably know about. Liora Argamani, of blessed memory, age 61, after years of fighting brain cancer, died this week. Her dying wish was to be reunited with her daughter Noah and to embrace her once more. Noah Argamani was stolen from the Nova Festival on October 7th. Thank God, and thanks to hundreds, if not thousands, of IDF soldiers who were involved in the high-risk mission that led to Noah's rescue from the clutches of Hamas 3 weeks ago, a dying mother's wish was granted, and Liora spent her final days on this earth with Noah by her side. May God comfort the Argamani family among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. In Hallel, we sing, Min ha-metzar karatiya, anani ba-merchavya. Noah has said to the press, when I was in captivity, I thought only of my parents. She lived the words of Hallel. In distress, I cried out to God, who answered me by setting me free. A second story from just this week. Back in November, a soldier named Or was critically injured while fighting Hamas in Khan Yunis. A soldier named Yisrael carried Or to a stretcher and then carried the stretcher to the helicopter, which took him to the military hospital. And notice their names. Or means light, and Yisrael, the name of the country they were defending together. Or was aware of what Yisrael did for him and hoped that he would one day live to have the chance to pay him back for it. And sure enough, that chance came this week. After months of multiple surgeries, thank God and thanks to the help of incredible medical professionals, Or has recovered. And this week, Or, a bright light, attended Yisrael's wedding, where he insisted that he would be the one strong enough to carry Yisrael on his shoulders on his way to the dance floor. Yisrael carried Or's broken body off of the battlefield, and now Or, restored to health, carried Yisrael, the groom, at his most joyful hour. The words of Hallel, Or must have said on the battlefield and in the hospital for so many months, Lo amut ki echyeh, I shall not die but live and tell the deeds of the Eternal. I thank you, for you have answered me. You have become my deliverance. A third story. Nearly 15 years ago, a mother escorted her 6-year-old son into his first grade class at the Uziel school in Beit Shemesh. The boy clung to his mother, as little ones do at the beginning of the school year, and she, as most mothers do, she worried to leave him there. the teacher was named Mazal. The teacher was named Good Fortune, Good Luck. And she told the mother that she had to leave now and that all would be okay for her young son. At the end of that first day of school, the nervous mother came rushing back to pick up her son, and the teacher Mazal told the mother in front of the son, "You have nothing to worry about. This boy is going to be an Air Force pilot one day." So friends, this very week, that little boy, who is simply called Yud, the first letter of his name, because it cannot be published what is his full name, it cannot be revealed in order to protect him. That little boy, that little Yud, that little Jew, Yud means Jew, he completed the course to become an Israeli Air Force pilot. And who did he make sure to invite to the graduation ceremony? Mazal, his first grade teacher who believed in him and who deliberately set him on a path of confidence and commitment and courage. May God bless Yud with success and safety in his missions to protect Israel. May his mother find her strength to let him go again, and may she welcome him home in peace. And may Mazal be blessed with many more years of teaching young Israeli children, inspiring them to dream of who they may yet become. Our Hallel echoes the words of Yud in the cockpit of his plane. Sabuni, Gam Svavuni. Though the nations surround me and blockade me, in God's name I will overcome them. Though they swarm about me like bees, like a blaze of fire among thorns, in the name of God, I will overcome them. A fourth story. Anan. Anan is an 18-year-old, a Muslim citizen of Israel. When Anan saw what happened on October 7th, how Hamas made no distinction between Jew, Christian, or Muslim, or Buddhist for that matter, how they treated every human being with equal brutality, he decided then and there that he would volunteer to enlist in the Israeli Defense Forces. And he joined a combat unit, no less, the Nachal Brigade, a very elite unit. And this week, after 9 months of intense training, Anan stood proudly alongside his fellow soldiers at their swearing-in ceremony, with one significant difference. You see, the Jewish soldiers are ceremonially presented with a gun and with a Tanakh. Anan was ceremonially presented with a gun and with a Quran, over which he made a solemn oath to protect his country of Israel. May Anan be blessed with success in defending Israel, and may he come home from battle to be reunited with his family in peace. And he may very well be singing the words of Hallel, Pitchu li sha'arei tzedek, avovam odeya. Certainly his deeds and his decision to voluntarily enlist resonate with the ancient words, open for me the gates of righteousness, let me enter and give thanks to God. Yah, Allah is my strength and my shield. Hear glad sounds of triumph in the tents of the just. One story for Canadian content this week. This Tuesday, you may have read, Member of Parliament Anthony Housefather himself was recently made a target of anti-Semitism. A poster was set showing a Nazi flag and an Israeli flag. The Israeli flag had the Magen David replaced with a swastika, and the poster says, in print for all to read in public spaces in Montreal, Housefather equals neo-Nazi, and get out of Canada. In his social media post, MP Housefather writes, "My family, my Jewish family, has been here since the 19th century, and we have indeed helped to build up this country. I am not going anywhere. Sorry, anti-Semites. You may not like what I have to say, but I will keep saying it." And yesterday, he was appointed by the Prime Minister as the country's special advisor on Jewish community relations and anti-Semitism. MP Housefather is a personification of the words from Hallel, "Even ma'asu habonim hayta l'rosh pinah." The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, the chief keystone. And finally, a story about us. Not only this week, but for many months now. What is our story, and where do we find it on this Rosh Chodesh Tammuz? Where do we find it woven into the language of Hallel? I know some of our congregants are afraid to come to shul, and some feel that they are safest here, that this is the most secure place to be. Some parents of our early childhood center want to make sure that a security guard is set to keep watch over their children when they play outside on the playground behind the fence. And some young parents call our offices to say, "We never belonged to a synagogue before, but now we know that we need to enroll our children for Jewish education so that they can know who they are, so they can know where they come from, so they can know the Jewish story and find their place in it." Some congregants are nervous to travel to Israel to visit with family and colleagues there. And some of our congregants are rushing to volunteer, to work shoulder to shoulder with Jews and allies from all over the world to provide for the soldiers and the 80,000 remaining evacuees who seem to get no attention in international news. Some of our congregants are afraid to wear a kippah or a Magen David in public, while others who never wore them publicly before October 7th, now dafka they do. This is our Hallel. We sing together songs of beseeching, prayers of pleading. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Please, Eternal One, please be our help. Ana Adonai Hatzlichana. Please, O Eternal God, please sustain us. We say this prayer full of faith. We say this prayer tinged with doubt. God is the one who rolls darkness away from light. And we, created in the image of God, must learn more and more to be among those who roll darkness away from light, who allow for light to roll over the darkness, to overwhelm it with light. Let us be our shared mission until we can say with the prophet Isaiah and see his prophecy fulfilled, Simchu et Yerushalayim, rejoice with Jerusalem, be glad for her, all you who love her. Sisu, you who once mourned over Jerusalem, may you rejoice soon in her rejoicing. Amen.